Okay, we've got our maps layered. We've got them all ready to go. We're on the streets level, so now what we want to do is we want to see how we need to draw these streets in. So what you're going to do is you're going to use the Draw Bezier Curves tool. And so what we want to do is we want to keep these very simple because then it makes them easier to edit later. So let's say we've got this street and that's all the map we've got. We want to make sure that we can be able to edit that later. So we'll start this curve here, and then when it crosses the highway 77, we're going to put a dot right in the middle, and then you can stretch it. See, if you stretch it down here, the road actually comes off of the straight path. So we want to bring it back to where it stops, and then put a point there. Then we can get close to this curve, put a point, and now we're going to do our arcing. So we put it across, click, hold, and we drag it. If you keep the little X lined up with the street that you're dragging to, then you can just move it back and forth to line it up to make it match the curve that the street has. And then we can just keep on going. And when we get to the end, you press return, and you've got a completed road. Now, of course, the road's a little thin, it's the wrong color, and a couple of other different things. So what we're going to do is we're just going to draw all of our roads in, and then we can select all of them and change them all at the same time. So we'll come up, once you hit the return button, you don't have to do anything else. You can keep drawing all day long. So we'll start here, and we'll put in our curves, and we'll make our nice street here. Now this one's a little tricky because it kind of shifts when it goes across, so we'll put a couple of points here, bring this up, hit return, go on our next street, kind of put it on the middle of the street so then you don't have gaps in between your lines when you increase the size of the line. So we'll put one here, do one here, and we can do our curve, back it up a little bit, and start another curve, and pull that one. And then another curve, and then we can go all the way to the end of the street with this one and hit return. And now for our straight streets, we can do these fairly easily, just for show's sake. You can take as little time or as much time with this as you want, depending on how detailed you want your maps, but as you can see, this is fairly straightforward stuff. We've only got an end point and a beginning point and end point for each of these streets, so it makes them rather easy to do. And we'll just stop this one here, and we'll get this one, and we'll just leave that for there. Now we also have this road over here. We've got the highway, so we want we want to have a highway too, and then we'll change up the way the streets look. So now we've got the highway selected. What we want to do is we want to make it different. So we're going to come over here to the RGB section, and we want it all the way red. Now if you notice, this is all the way, this is your transparency, and it's 255. So we want this at full red, so that's 255. Hit return. Now if you notice, our road's red. Now we want it to be a little bit bigger, so we're going to go to stroke style, and we're going to make it, this is pixels, px, so we want 5 pixels. And as you can see, it made our road a big red highway. So now these other roads, we want to select them. So we're going to get the select tool, we're going to click off of that highway. Now we're going to click on each of our roads that we have. You got to click on, you either got to drag a box around them or click every last one of them, because if you don't, then you'll have to go back and do this again for the ones that you missed. So it looks like about all of them. So we're going to go again to the stroke style. We're going to make these 3 pixels. And as you can see, we actually missed one. And then we're going to change these to a gray color. So to get gray, you're going to have to go to CMYK. And in the K section, which is black or white, we're going to put in 50%. Now what this does is it lets you have gray roads, so when you write black letters, they don't conflict with the gray roads, and you can still see the name of the street when you put the name of the street on there. Alright, so this is pretty much how you draw the streets. All you do is just continue on with your entire map, and then of course you want to remember to actually save your map once you're done, so that you won't lose your progress in case anything happens. So in the next video what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to label the streets.